everybody. Welcome to another day on my YouTube channel. Actually, the name of our YouTube channel used to be called Dang Zone, but I actually got tired of that name and just used my regular name. Don't look for me. So, guys, today what I'm going to be talking about is the transition from a Windows operating system to a Mac operating system. So, before I actually get into that, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. So, before I again get into that story, we all know about the new MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini that actually just came out from Apple this year. I believe this was at the end of November. Sorry, I'm actually ready for next year. Okay, so yeah, these new laptops and computer desktops came out with the M1 chip, which I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I've had my MacBook Air for about a week now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm enjoying the speed and the simplicity of what Apple has to offer. And I am sure that that is the case with most people who are in the Apple ecosystem, because I'm going to tell you very well, once you're in the Apple ecosystem, it is very hard to get out. And it is very hard to get out because of how everything works with each other. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure there were also a lot of Windows users that actually saw the life event that Apple came out with. Okay, they saw the M1 chip. They've been looking at all the review videos on YouTube for the past 2 weeks now, maybe 3. And I'm pretty sure they're tired of seeing those videos in their feed, and they're just wondering, should I jump into the Mac OS system, or should I just stay where I'm at, Windows, where everything just works in Windows too? And there's so much more that you can do with Windows, and Windows is just a very open source operating system that anything can be done on it. And that is where probably the problem is, because once you jump into Apple, you're jumping into an ecosystem that is closed up, and pretty much whatever Apple has to offer you is what you're going to get. Okay? So now, my background when it comes to, let's just say it like this. I've been using Windows since I've came to the United States. My first time using a Windows desktop was in Nigeria, and all I typed was YOMI. That was it. That was all I knew about using a Windows desktop, or even itself a computer. Okay, so I came to the United States, and I've been using a Windows desktop for probably the past 18 years now, and I'm still using it because I need a Windows desktop for my job as a database administrator. Okay, and Windows is just something that I could always play around with. There's so many configurations that I could do on a Windows desktop that I do not believe that I can just go on a Mac OS and just do the same thing. Like, one of the latest configuration that I did on my Windows desktop was just changing the background picture on my desktop, and having little tiny birds fly around, and this continues in a loop. Okay, now on the Mac OS system, I'm not sure whether I can do that, but then I'm actually still relatively new in the Mac OS system, and I'm pretty sure there's still a lot that I have to learn. But just from what I know about Apple, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to do that. It's like Windows is Android when it comes to the phone world, and Apple is Apple. Everything is closed in, and that's it. So, assuming right now you're wondering, will I enjoy transitioning from the Windows OS to Apple OS? What I'll tell you is this: start slow, and by the time you'll get to the end, that will be when you should jump into the Mac OS system. I say it because of this, guys. Okay, so this is actually not my first time getting a MacBook. My actual first MacBook was a 2017 MacBook Pro, in which in about a month of it, I was tired of it. So that just tells you that in between that 1 month, I just wasn't enjoying what Apple has to offer. It was pretty much like it was like using a kid's computer. I just say it like it is, okay? While on Windows, I just felt so free using Windows. I could do whatever I want. I can do whatever I need to do for my job. I could download as many applications that I wanted to do. I could use Windows PowerShell. I'm pretty sure I could do the same thing on Apple, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to learn that. But I was just so used to the Windows ecosystem that when I just made a transition from a Windows into a MacBook, I was bored. I just felt that, what's the need of this when I could just get me an iPad? So a month into it, I sold my MacBook Pro, and I actually lost money on it because I sold the MacBook on eBay. Watch out for eBay. In fact, if you're going to sell something on eBay, always make sure that you get insurance on the item that you are selling, because you can find out real quick that a lot of these buyers, they're just there to scam you. You think you're doing something. A lot of these buyers will scam you. Let's just say that the person received the box, opened the box up, and there was nothing in there. So I called USPS up and telling that, hey, yo, I sold a MacBook Pro on eBay, and the person received the item, and there was nothing in the box. What is this? I got $50. That was their insurance, because I did not take the opportunity to use the insurance system and put as much insurance as I can on the device. I lost money, and I had to pay, and I wasn't even done paying for the laptop then. Okay, Apple couldn't help me out, eBay couldn't help me out, USPS could not help me out, because $50 is nothing. Do you know how much these computers are? So let's just get back to the subject. So I sold the MacBook, and I went back to the Windows ecosystem, and my mind was at peace, So me knowing this, I just started small, okay? My first Apple device was an iPhone. My first iPhone was an iPhone 6, I believe. And using that helped me to, when you're just getting into the Apple ecosystem, you're going to complain, and you're going to say, oh, I could do all this on an Android phone. How come I can't do this on an Apple phone? Why does Apple have to close their system up so much? Oh, the screen looks basic. I cannot do any kind of widget or anything like this. But as you stay in the ecosystem and as you complain, you start to realize what Apple's business model is when it comes to whatever device that it create. It is all about the ease of use and the simplicity. Let's just assume that you have the iPhone right now, okay? And just think to yourself, how easy is it for you to use your iPhone? Okay? Just think about that. How much problems do you really have on your iPhone? The apps that you do use, do they just work? If that is your answer, then you understand what Apple is all about. I understand that when you're on an Android phone or a Windows, whatever, there's so much that you can do. Okay, there's literally so many things you can do. Okay, but that is Windows business model. Okay, Windows has been alive now for over 3 decades at this point, and I think Apple has been alive for about 2 decades. I'm pretty sure. But I guess you cannot compare apples. You cannot compare apples to oranges, but you can compare apples to apples. And no one actually does what Apple does, if that makes any sense. Okay, so you have to actually start looking into what Apple does and whether you actually enjoy it, which is why you should start small. Okay, and starting small is starting, again, get your iPhone. That's your beginning step into understanding the Apple ecosystem. From there, you start getting all the extra devices like the AirPods Pro, the Powerbeats Pro, which is an Apple device. Using that, and then you get yourself an iPad or an iPad Pro. then you start to see that, wait a minute, all these devices, they just work so well with each other. You understand what I'm saying? They work so well. Why do they work so well? I mean, I can go back to Windows, but Windows itself is its own system. Okay? There is no such thing as a community of all your devices, which is what Apple brings. But you cannot just jump into it. You have to truly understand it, and you have to, be able to go in, understand, and be at peace. Which is why, there are steps, just like life. Okay, let's just make myself an example. I am a database administrator. Okay, now when I started my career, which was probably about 3 years ago, let's say that the most I knew when it comes to SQL was select all from this. Okay, that was pretty much it. I mean, in school, they teach you every kind of coding language, but there's really nothing that you really stick to. And I got my first job as a DBA, and I was put right in. Okay, this was my first career job. Okay, and when I tell you for like over a year, my whole time at the first job, I was always having problems because it was just something that I jumped in. I did not really take my time to really learn what SQL is and understand what the Microsoft SQL Server, or whichever SQL Server you're using, what it does, and just to understand it. And which is why I'm saying if you're transitioning from the Microsoft ecosystem to the the Microsoft ecosystem to the Apple ecosystem, take your time to truly understand what the operating system does and also understand Apple's business model, because I can tell you now that from transitioning from having that, the iPhone 6, 6S, the iPhone 7, 7S, the iPhone, I didn't get the iPhone 8, the big one. I always get the big one, I got the big game. But transitioning from all that to now I'm at the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and now in my second MacBook, it just feels so easy to use. I know what the system is because it don't really change much from device to device. Like right now, I'm looking at Node. This is where I'm collecting my YouTube ideas again. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe if you made it this far. But yeah, all my notes from my iPhone are all right now showing on my MacBook here. And that is what we're talking about. I understand the system. And because I understand the system, me just getting a MacBook Air is nothing. It's not like I'm learning it's not like I'm learning the application. I already know the system. Okay? Which makes my transition easier. Again, so before you jump into the Mac OS system, let's say you're a Windows user, take your time to learn what it is. Don't just get a MacBook just because, Apple came out with a new M1 chip. It's so fast. It does this, it does that. The battery life is so good. It's like you get the device Take your time to learn the ecosystem. Then you decide, should I make that jump? Because this computers are not cheap. And you don't want to waste your money. Okay? You do not want to waste your money. Okay? And, that's all my information for